Over the years, we've driven some absolutely insane obstacles during 24 Hell and Back.
I'm glad that one's over.
Today, I'm ranking the top 10 wildest trails in all of 24 Hell and Back history. For those of you that are new to the channel, once a year I invite some of the craziest rigs and drivers that I know, and we take on the hardest trails in America for 24 hours straight. Starting at number 10 and working my way all the way down to the one obstacle that not only had the most rollovers, but also scared me by far the most. And if you think you know which one is our number one place, I guarantee you, you're probably wrong. Before we start, this list isn't just about difficulty. It's about risk and consequences, skill and technique, adrenaline, mental pressure, and action. And some of these aren't actually the hardest obstacles to drive, but they were by far the hardest ones to actually commit to. Coming in at number 10 is the first big drop of our Arizona 24 Hell and Back. Over what, 9 foot, I'm 6'3", so I'm gonna be the guinea pig, the first full body rig to make it down this. I gave everybody the option to connect a tow strap on their rear bumper so the group can help and support the car from flipping over forward. My friend Andrew Bailey opted out of that safety option, and what happens next, you'll see right now. And as you can see, he ended up on his lid and unfortunately even suffered a concussion from it. The reason why this is ranked number 10 is because I gave everybody the option to put a safety strap on their rear bumper and prevent this from happening. Coming in at number 9 is an obstacle that was a bonus line during our 24 Hell and Back in Utah in 2023.
Back it up and let it settle a little bit. I don't think I would even put tires on that.
As you can see, this climb was straight up vertical, and because it was dark, I could not see any spotters, so I had to drive solely by feel and feel out exactly what my tires in my rig was gonna do. And I constantly had to fight and try to prevent my Jeep from tipping over backwards. Of everybody that tried it, which was honestly just Rory and I, only Rory made it. As you can see, this obstacle was straight up vertical. Now we're moving on to obstacle number 8 that was featured in the 24 Hell and Back in Tennessee in 2024. This obstacle actually gave me sleepless nights. This entire place was a rock bouncer park, so Jeeps like ours or Jeeps like mine had no business being on this trail. So the consequences on this obstacle were massive because it was a slicked up, almost vertical waterfall that you could not crawl up by any means. You had to send it because the breakover angle on the top was so steep that you would have bellied out with your skid plate.
That does not look like a one-shot thing anymore. It looked easy until it wasn't.
You alright, buddy?
Tree.
Yeah. Can you hit main power right there?
You okay, Tyler?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Hey, what up?
As you can see, Tyler ran out of luck at the very top of this obstacle. Unfortunately, he oversent it, so to say, and his rear axle tube got caught in a tree, and which sent him all the way backwards back down the hill. I'm ranking this obstacle number 8 because actually quite some people made it to the top. That brings us to obstacle number 7, which was part of the 24 Hell and Back Trail Challenge in Oklahoma at the Rugged Mountain Ranch in 2020. This obstacle is called the Gatekeeper. Funny thing about it though, it wasn't at the beginning of the trail like a Gatekeeper usually is. It was about at the halfway point, right when it got dark on us. We had an extremely skilled group of drivers that day, and we all looked at this obstacle and we were scratching our heads. It was like, this, like, how? How is this even possible? You had to drive through a water hole first, so get your tires all nice and wet before you take on this massive, super technical climb up these big boulders with tires hanging off the ledge and whatnot. If you would have rolled at this point, you would have been like head in the water down at the bottom. Plus, what you guys all don't know, what you haven't seen in the footage of the video, that water puddle down at the bottom was covered in water moccasins.
This feels like
I was the first one in line, and let me tell you, that adrenaline thrill of going up this obstacle is in my head all the way till today, because it was just so freaking epic. And the traction at Rugged Mountain Ranch on these rocks is so good that it actually pulls you over. We had a minor difficulty with Holly from Mischief Maker breaking an axle shaft in that obstacle. Everybody else though made it through quite smoothly. And therefore, this obstacle is ranked on number 7. Next up is an obstacle called Devil's Bunghole, which is ranked on number 6. This obstacle is also part of the Field and Forest Off-Road Park in New Hampshire, and we took on this obstacle after 22 hours of off-roading, meaning we were sleep deprived, our rigs were tired, our rigs were partially broken. We were in no shape or form to take on this nasty trail at the end of this 24 Hell and Back challenge, and what that resulted in, you'll see now. As you saw, this obstacle kicked our butts. We had a rock bouncer flip over, we had the Toyota completely on his side, we had a JK break an axle shaft, and I beat the snot out of my Jeep and still didn't make it up. So that obstacle kicked our butts. So therefore, it's ranked on the 6th place. Now we already made it to the halfway point, which brings us to the legendary Winch Hill of the 24 Hell and Back in Tennessee in 2024. Talk about putting your life on a line just to conquer an obstacle. As you guys probably know, we put a lot of effort in trying to make these obstacles look as real and as dramatic as they are in real life. But trust me when I tell you, video did not do this justice at all. This obstacle was untouched up until the day we arrived. This trail always ended at the obstacle right before it. People went up it, turned around, went back down. For them, the trail ended right there.
I was worried about oil pressure sitting there.
I just didn't want it to jerk out of their hands if something happened.
No, I just wanted to level out just enough. Whew, I'm shaking. Pictures are gonna do no justice.
Looking like now. Even worse than it did down there. There's no way the cameras are gonna do this justice. Unbelievable. I mean, it is literally like that up there is literally straight up and down.
Guys, I know a lot of you think that winching equals failing, but in my world, winching is just another tool to get me further into a trail that otherwise I would have never been able to wheel or even see. So even though we didn't technically drive the obstacle but winch it, this is ranked on number 5. Moving on to number 4, an obstacle called Alimony, which was part of the 24 Hell and Back in Utah in 2023. And I have to say it again, video doesn't do this obstacle justice. It was absolutely massive, with massive consequences if you messed up.
That's the trail? Yeah.
Welcome to Hell and Back.
This one's a little intimidating.
So here's the lines.
What do you think, man?
Either you go here and you shoot straight up, or you go around and then come in where Max at and go up there.
As you can see, this rock wall was not only steep and long, but also tilted to the side. And so you were off camber the entire time going up. And then at the very top, you had a stair step that you had to overcome as well. If you mess up anywhere on that stretch, you would have rolled over not only backwards, but backwards and sideways at the same time and ended up in this rock pile of like vehicle-sized boulders that would have completely destroyed your car, and it would have turned into a 48-hour hell and back if somebody would have ended up in there.
That's a good climb, dude. That's a good climb.
All right, now we're entering the top 3 of the wildest obstacles in 24 Hell and Back history. Coming in on 3rd place is an obstacle called the Abyss, also from the 24 Hell and Back at Rugged Mountain Ranch in Oklahoma. This obstacle really hit on all the things that I talked about earlier in this video: consequence, skill, and thrill. So as I was approaching this obstacle, I had to drive into this super deep pool of water that easily swallowed my 42-inch tire. And then next up was this big rock wall that came out of the water that you had to drive on top of. And the moment I put my front tires on it, the water was actually so deep that it came in right behind my seats, and everything behind me was underwater. And it was so deep that actually some of the stuff I had in my Jeep started to float. Climbing that big wall wasn't that easy either. You really had to be on a perfect line in order to climb out of there. But once you did, you only ended up on the first of 3 shelves. So you had to climb up it, then you had to make a turn, climb a little bit higher, and the consequences with each level were drastically getting more and more, because the higher you got on it, the sketchier it got. And if you would have rolled over in that scenario, you would have ended up upside down in the water, which is by far the biggest fear of every off-roader.
Scott, you just gave us quite a show, man. How was that?
That was good. Ready to move on to the next one.
Landing on 2nd place is an obstacle called Hot Dog Hill during our 24 Hell and Back in Tennessee in 2024. This was also one of the obstacles that kept me up at night. This obstacle is by far the tallest, longest, and gnarliest wall we ever climbed in Hell and Back history. Because at any given moment, your tires could have touched one side of the wall, which would have turned you around in the middle of the hill, and you would have tumbled all the way down to the bottom. This obstacle really was the biggest beatdown in all of Hell and Back history. The thrill level was through the roof. The only way to make it up this obstacle was 100% commitment, pedal to the metal, and hope for the best. So even though it looks like just a pure throttle madness, it actually required quite some skill to make it to the top, especially to get it started and get over those two big ledges at the very bottom of it. Once you made it past that, that's when pedal to the metal came into play. And yeah, hope for the best you make it to the top without any broken parts. So let me tell you guys, even in dry conditions, this would have been a really, really hard climb. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, our #1 spot, the wildest obstacle in all of 24 Hell and Back history. For our first place, we have to go all the way back to our 24 Hell and Back in Arizona. And this was the very last drop, the last section of the first trail. Let me tell you, I have never been so scared in my Jeep in my life.
My fear of having a tire on this big boulder is that will get you in a really, really crazy...
And on this side, it's straight down.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Come here. Don't get on this side of this peak. Come here and slide down this way. It'll put you right there.
Yeah.
I hate to bring it up again, guys, but video does not do this justice. This entire section of the trail was so steep and the consequences were so high that I literally thought I'm gonna meet God here in just a second. It was terrible, absolutely terrifying. That very first rock that you had to drive over put you in a very, very awkward position. Your vehicle was off camber and you were way far beyond the tree line. You can see all the way back down to the bottom. The people in the rigs at the bottom were about this big, and there was nothing in between you and those people that would have stopped you if you would have gone over.
Jade, strap!
Just right on and hold it. Stay right there.
Hurry up!
Hurry up, throw it!
It's all downhill from here. This is a gnarly little stretch, man. Just big holes that swallow.
This section of the trail was also the section with the most rollovers in Hell and Back history. This obstacle didn't just test rigs, it tested people.
Keep going.
Committing to this obstacle literally felt like life and death.
It's intense. This is not easy, and I'm sure people will look at this at home and say my JK can do that, my rig can do that, and there will be people on this trail that will tell you different.
Now I want to know from you guys, which one do you think was the hardest obstacle in 24 Hell and Back history? We're already 7 seasons deep with 24 Hell and Back, so if you haven't seen all of them, make sure you check out our YouTube library and watch the ones you haven't seen yet. If you guys enjoyed the style of video, also let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback on a video like this, something we've never done before, something completely new. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and I see you guys in the next video.